And hello, everybody. You're live. It's Monday night, June 9th. This is Sherry Talk Radio. If you have a question for the show or a comment, you can send it to SherryTalkRadio@yahoo.com. You know, the last couple of weeks I've been talking about the sun, things related to the sun, how the early races of mankind worshipped the sun and where kind of sun worship started. Tonight I'm going to go a step further and reveal a lot of things to you that might blow you away as much as it did me. The Lord's been kind of showing me this last couple of years, and I've always just stepped back, like I always do. I take things slowly and just have Him bring it back and back and back before I can really grasp it as a truth. And so tonight I'm going to go ahead and step out and reveal something that He's been showing me about the sun and some things. I kind of hinted at it a week, maybe even two ago, about the sun having a dual purpose. I'm not going to get into a lot of why the early races started worshiping the sun, other than to make some comments on it. I'm eventually going to write an article on this and put all of the information I have together in one cohesive article and add it to my collection of articles. I know I haven't updated a lot of my sites in the last several months recently. Put an article on there today, Dust of the Earth, and so a lot of you that wanted more information and clarification on why mankind is the dust of the earth, and the aliens being these fallen angels being punished, having to live off the dust of the earth, in other words, eating mankind. And that article kind of goes a little bit further into that, and so you can find it on my websites, thewatcherfiles.com or sherryshriner.com. I'm just glad to see so many more people standing up. As people keep praying and asking the Lord for truth, that He can reveal things to them, and then they can be another voice for Him. There's so very few voices actually for Him in these last days, and so to be able to put these on my website, some real articles with revelation knowledge on them, it just tickles me to death. So many people being able to grasp the truth, and it's not anything I've said or anything anybody else has said. It's the mere fact that they're doing what I've been asking people to do for the past umpteen years, and that's simply asking the Lord for truth in all things. And as you do that, He can reveal things to you. He can show you where you're in error. He can show you what knowledge you need in certain areas. It's a journey, and it's a process. And so that's, one of the things the Lord told me many years ago, 12 years ago, when He said, lead my people back to me. He didn't say to lead them to Sherry Shriner. He didn't say to lead them to one of my websites. He said, lead them back to me. And so I use my websites and my ability with radio shows and writings to lead people to Him, to lead them back to Him. And if they weren't strayed and gone off in a million different directions that weren't of Him, they wouldn't be led back to Him. And so I've pretty much made that a dominant theme of my entire ministry in my life the last umpteen years, just to lead people to Him, because it's not about me, it's not about anything I say. It's about leading them to Him and finding out and learning how they can be empowered by Him and how they can be led by Him with truth in all things. We've got enough of people out there saying, believe what I say, believe what I say. I don't want you to believe what I say. I want you to ask Him. If I say something you're unsure of, ask Him if what I'm saying is of the truth, and ask Him for more information of it. Go to Him. Seek Him for it. He is the source of all knowledge. He's the source of all information. Anything else, you're just being typical churchdom again. The Lord's pulled a lot of His people out of the churches for that very reason, because they teach theologies of man, not the Most High. They're teaching their own theologies, their own spins. And the Lord's told me many times that there's a little truth here, there's a little truth there, there's a little truth everywhere, not one place has it. And He said to me several times that today's churches are not of Him. And so, regardless of that, I still get emails from people, where is there a church where I can find someone preaching the whole truth? And this is what I've said all along. There's no churches out there preaching all of the truth. They each have a piece of it, and that's it. And, the Lord called the last days churches the whores of Babylon. They're in spiritual adulteries, and not only adulteries, idolatries. They worship Paul and Mary more than Him. You go to church today, you sit down, you hear about Paul, you don't hear about the Lord. The Lord said this, then they mix in Paul, and this total contrast. If these pastors would ever sit down and read the Bible, they would realize what a contrast Paul was from what the Lord and His apostles taught. Just because Paul makes some quotes and spins them his own way from previous prophets' writings, they think he's of God. And so they have a long way to go in learning what the truth is. And that being one of the first things that the Lord opened my eyes up to was just the heresies in the churches today, and He pulled me out of them. For that reason, I've just gone on a lifelong journey of searching what the truth is. asking him all the time, asking him daily, I want more and more and more and more and more. And he has always awarded me of that. Sometimes I simply can't handle the information he gives me. It takes me a while to absorb it. Because I have to feel it. I have to know what I know before I can tell other people. If that makes any sense. You know, I just have to be comfortable with it. Some of the stuff is just some real revelational knowledge. And, you know, when it comes from the Most High and you get it in your spirit that you know that you know that you know it, you know, nothing can take that away. Nothing. Just ask people how adamant I've been on any truth I preach. I've never backed down, won't back down, because I know it from the Lord Himself. And so the things on my websites and the things that I write about, I have been taught by the Lord Himself. And so that's why you'll never see me back down. And if I don't know something, I'll say so. I don't know that, I don't know this, I don't know that. But when I do know something, I know that I know that I know it. And there's just no backing down on that. So tonight I'm going to teach you something. And I'm going to read a bit of Enoch because he's just one of my favorite patriarchs. I just love him to death. He had so much knowledge. He was one of the most knowledgeable people ever probably born. People probably say, well, Solomon was the wisest man on earth, and he was at the time he was alive. But when you look at the writings of Enoch in just one book, and to think that he wrote so many more books that we don't even have a hold of. They've been kept from us for one reason or another, and you can pretty much read between the lines on that one. It's just amazing that we do have the one book that we do, and it's on my website, SherryTalkRadio.com. I do have a link to Enoch's book, and I've been searching it inside and out the last couple of weeks, and just reading. Every time you read it, it takes a while to absorb it, and so that's why I just read it, and I read it, and I reread it, and a year goes by and I go back and I make sure I read it again. Because you always pick up something new, and it helps absorb what the information he's saying is. But tonight what I want to reveal is that I've talked about how the sun represents the glory of the Most High. And the sun itself is the driving force, the life force of this earth. There's not one person, not one animal, not one plant that couldn't live without the sun. The healing energies, the vitamins we get from the sun, vitamin D, is simply the life force on earth. And in a lot of ways, there was that life force and the fact that the sun was so powerful, which is why a lot of these early societies would worship the sun, and also because they knew that the archangels were located from within the sun. And that's where all the sun worship had started and came from, because Satan perverted that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But one of the biggest things I think that I've been able to grasp the last couple of weeks is the dual purpose of the sun. We have the physical manifestation of the sun, to where it's a lake of fire. You just see flames and the heat. And the outside of the sun, you can't even get too close to it. You would burn. You can't even walk outside today. You burn. I was in the sun 20 minutes yesterday and got burned. Probably about an hour, but it's very hot, the physical manifestation. But in the spiritual manifestation, it's just a brilliant light, because it's where the throne of the Lord is located. And it's a brilliance, it's a light. And, where the archangels are, obviously, because they have direct access to the throne of God, is where His throne is going to be. And so that's pretty much, when you look up at the sun, you're seeing a luminary with a dual purpose. Not only is it to heat the earth up, it's also where the throne of God is located. I want to read something in Revelation chapter 2. It says, "But that which ye have already hold fast till I come, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give him power over the nations. And ye shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And I will give him the morning star. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches." Whenever you hear this phrase, "He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches," it means the truth has just been revealed, a mystery has been spoken. But only those with ears will hear it. And so whenever you hear that, or whenever you